But pivoting a little bit, and speaking of the YouTubes and other YouTubers, She-Hulk appears to model members of misogynist antagonist group Intelligencia after YouTuber Doomcock. This comes from Bounding Into Comics. And I
just dropped 3 links or 3 things in a row right there. The title and 2 different links.
Yeah. So she dropped the article from Bounding Into Comics, but also Doomcock did a video on it too. Just before going live with this one, I saw someone else putting out, and I'm not gonna name names, but I saw another YouTuber put out a video basically suggesting that Doomcock is a bit egotistical for thinking this has anything to do with him. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's not just him saying it. It's frickin' everybody in the Twitter sphere. Everybody in fandom. And Bounding Into Comics. I mean, say what you want about Doomcock, but, I'm sorry. The preponderance of evidence I tend to agree with on this one.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody's saying it, it's not just
him. And everyone can be wrong, but you got to take all the evidence and weigh it, and I don't think he's doing that. I think he's letting his biases about Doomcock and his not liking Doomcock kind of sway him. But I actually didn't prepare any notes for this, so I'm going to actually pull Boomer on everybody, and I'm going to actually go to the article and do a little reading from it. So this again is from Bounding Into Comics, and you saw it in the thumbnail. And if you happen to be masochistic enough to be watching She-Hulk, you saw this insurrectionist group, this intelligentsia wearing a mask. Yes, it doesn't look exactly like Doomcock's, and they don't wear a uniform exactly like Doomcock's, and they don't frickin' call themselves Doomcock. Can you be a little non-literal here? They're not going to be that on the nose. But this is on the nose enough. In the strongest suggestion thus far that Disney Plus series is nothing more than a platform for its writers to use to work out their own personal hang-ups, She-Hulk, attorney at law, appears to have modeled the uniform appearance of the series' incel antagonist group Intelligencia on the recognizable visage of popular YouTuber Doomcock. Introduced in the series' 6th episode, Just Jen, the Marvel Cinematic Universe's incarnation of the primarily anti-Hulk supervillain team is depicted as a forum exclusively full of angry men who have gathered in their shared hatred of She-Hulk. Shown making the worst quality anti-She-Hulk memes possible, which is, again, kind of, art reflecting reality because the left can't meme. Very much composed of the writer's failed boomer attempts to parody contemporary memes using a format last popular in 2009 and issuing death threats towards the Jade Giantess on a Reddit-like website. The Intelligencia's hatred of Jen is shown as being based on nothing more than the fact that she's a woman. I don't know about you folks, but I have not heard one single person say anything about She-Hulk being a woman.
She is one.
Well, she is, but she's also an established female character. She's not just a gender swap of a character. This is a character with her own history, and if anything, the biggest criticism is this doesn't look anything like the character we've loved from the comics all these years.
True.
Though the group has been, for the most part, kept in the shadows outside of their agent Josh being seen manipulating She-Hulk's heartstrings as part of the group's machinations, the Intelligencia finally made their debut alongside Daredevil in the series' latest entry, Rabid and Rip It. I'm just spouting word salad here because I have not seen a single episode of this show, know nothing about what I'm actually saying here. Following what is essentially an entire episode surrounding the devil of Hell's Kitchen, the series' latest episode draws on an awkwardly stumbles to an awkwardly stumbling close with Jen's attendance of the award gala, where she has been nominated as Female Lawyer of the Year, though this disappointingly turns out to be an admittedly patronizing participation trophy award rather than a genuine accolade. Eventually invited up to the stage along with her fellow Female Lawyers of the Year, Jen takes the opportunity, regardless, to deliver a customary acceptance speech, thanking her parents, her friends, and her co-workers for their support throughout the ups and downs of her career. However, it is midway through Jen's speech that Intelligencia reveals themselves to the public at large. "Do you want to know who She-Hulk really is?" asks the group's voice-masked leader, Hulk King, as the group hijacks the awards ceremony's audio-visual setup. "This is the truth, as presented by Intelligencia," a voice booms out across the reception hall as two masked men appear on screen. "She-Hulk does not deserve your attention," one of the men continues, as She-Hulk's personal information, obtained through Josh's hacking of her phone, begins to flood the screen. "She does not deserve your praise. She does not deserve the power she stole from the Hulk. She's not good enough to be a superhero. And she's a slut," he finally explains, as the group's main weapon is deployed, a sex tape recorded without Jen's permission by the aforementioned Josh. Okay, I'm just going to stop right there. You can read the rest of the article for yourself. But yeah, I have zero doubt that this is exactly what they think is a caricature of Doomcock. However, anyone who has watched a single Doomcock video knows this is nothing like what Doomcock does. He very self-admittedly puts out rumors, and he says, take it with a grain of salt. This is what I've heard. I cannot corroborate it. And he shares inside information. Sometimes it's 100% right on. And sometimes, in the very Cassandra-esque tradition, what he puts out does not come true simply because history is altered by his revelation. When fans become upset and outraged, sometimes the studios take notice and make some changes behind the scene, thus fighting the culture war. But what he also does is something not unlike, God bless you, Netter, not unlike what we all do on a daily basis, and say, yeah, I don't like your show. The reason I don't like your show is because I do like that character, and you have ruined the character. Not because of the character being a certain gender or a certain race, but because you are not portraying the character from the comics. It's really that simple. Your jokes are not funny. You know, if you have to, go hire John Byrne to write jokes for you, right? Or better yet, just read the damn comics that you're supposed to be adapting. It's really that simple. That's all that Doomcock has ever said. And no one has said boo about the fact that she's female. No one said anything about Captain Marvel being female. In fact, most of us were fired up at the initial announcement that Danvers was going to be coming into the Marvel Universe. But then Brie had to start shooting off her mouth, and they had to keep doubling down on it, and they had to say it wasn't made for you. Just don't show up for it. So we didn't. And honestly, I don't think that the Marvel Universe has really recovered ever since. But yeah, so there's at least a handful of YouTubers out there that think that Doomcock's full of crap for thinking this is about him, but it's not just him, guys. It's the vast majority of the people in our sphere of fandom. But what do you think? Have you guys seen this this segment of She-Hulk? Did you kind of look at that and go, hey, yeah, maybe that is about Doomcock?
Well, it's like when you showed me the clip, you hadn't even said anything. You just said, hey, just watch this. And I was looking at it going, it looks like Doomcock.
Yep. Even before I started playing it, she just saw the image.
And it's like, Doomcock is now in She-Hulk? And you're like, no, they're parroting him. It's like, okay.
Yep. PJ agrees. Looks like him. Sounded like him. Beware, we will see more in the next episode. They can take that character in many directions. Yeah. And as Doomcock himself said, that just means he's winning. He's living rent free in their heads.
Skipper Karen, you need to listen to some Doomcock.
I literally said this before I read Deleted Scenes comment. We live rent-free in their heads. Yes, absolutely right. David Pansek says, it's the Marvel 25% different formula, like JJ Trek. Ironically, though, at least, JJ Trek, from a business standpoint, you can explain it, right? Because he didn't make marketing dollars off of anything that wasn't clearly demonstrably his brand of Trek. If you go out and buy a JJ Trek Enterprise, he makes the money on that. Whereas if you buy a classic real original series Enterprise, all of that goes to CBS, Paramount, whatever. I actually don't know how it breaks down, since CBS and Paramount split and came back, and very, very weird. Skipper Kenner says, I have seen She-Hulk. It stumbles from struggling it stumbles from struggling writing and the TV format. I do like the reveal of the attackers, not because they share a sex tape and all that, but because we see for a brief moment that She-Hulk was losing control, and she doesn't have complete control if triggered enough. I mean, yeah, that's a good point. But it's interesting because this is one of the criticisms that has been that I've seen put about the She-Hulk show, because John Byrne, during his run, which was one of the most successful runs of the She-Hulk comic, played around a lot with sexuality and comic code, and in a very joking, fourth wall breaking kind of way, so this would have been a great opportunity for them to play around with that, and something tells me they didn't, because pretty woman sexuality, male gaze bad, so I don't know, whatever. But despite several issues, I have enjoyed the show. I'm glad you do, Big Al. Hopefully, character growth comes from the realization that she does not control her She-Hulk as much as she's led us to believe. And that's a very touchy subject for them to get into too, right? Because same reason as the major story development such that there was in Captain Marvel, right? A woman having to control her emotions. Oh, trigger all the fourth wave feminists, when the fact is you're so focused on the feminine part of it, you're not focusing on the human nature aspect of it, because the reality is, as a human being, you need to engage rational thought and overcome emotion. Whether you're male or female, or other these days. Yeah. The Marvel Universe really hurts from being a streaming service. They do better in movies than in a series. I agree with you. However, both mediums could work if they had talented writers. I think there is stuff that they have done in film that would have worked better in a series, and I think they've done stuff in series that would have worked better in film. I think most people agreed that WandaVision would have worked much better as a movie than it did as a series. You could go over to the Star Wars side and say the same thing. the Book of Boba Fett probably would have worked better as a movie than it did as a series. They're trying to take these series and stretch them out to get as much watch time as possible, and that's a completely different paradigm. If you can write to that, that's much better. If you've got a 1 hour story and you can string 8 of them together, good on you. If not, make a damn movie, you know?
Hey, Bosco Scenario. Gotta jump on a stream. Just want to say you guys rock. Catch you on the replay. Oh, great. Thanks.
Aw, thank you so much. Super appreciate it, Bosco. And again, make sure you're still subscribed because I lost a bunch of you the other day. You know nothing of Doomcock. I think you'd get a kick out of him. The same way you get a kick out of Rich Coase and Svengoolie and whatnot. And he's got a lot of your kind of humor too, Skipper Kenner. I think you'd really, really enjoy him. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say about that. Is that